I want to talk about the Premier League title race because as things stand, City are 2 points off of Arsenal. It's December and I haven't made a video like this in a bit, right? So let's get straight into it. Make sure to like and subscribe for more content and let's get straight into it, right? Because City's next game is West Ham. West Ham is a pretty simple game for most teams. It's a team that is pretty weak when it comes to the players and it's a team that Nuno has gotten not too long ago, right? But Arsenal's going to Everton, an Everton side that I think they're going to miss a lot of players, right? I think Ndai is not going to be there. I'm pretty sure someone else got injured. There's a lot of things going on in West Ham, but going to West Ham Stadium, the new stadium, it's a difficult task for any team, right? Going to West Ham is always going to be a difficult game, and as things are looking for Arsenal, it's weird, right? Because for me, in my opinion, there's no shame losing to Aston Villa. Aston Villa are an amazing team. They're on a 9 game win streak. They're a very good team. They have the players. They have the manager. For me, losing to Aston Villa is no shame, right? But then the way they beat Wolves, they got 3 points, right? You could say that they're still number one in the league. But the way they played against the Wolves, the way they were struggling to break them down, the way they sat back a little bit when they scored the goal on Wolves, like this is Wolves, right? This is the Wolves that is probably gonna end up being the worst Wolves team in history, right? 2 points still. It's sad watch. You know, we saw Manchester United beat them not too long ago. We've seen other teams destroy them, and 2 points, probably the worst Wolves in history of the Premier League, right? The worst team probably. I think it might end up with the worst point tally. And the way Arsenal were struggling with them, 2 own goals to win the game. And look, some people may say sometimes you need those games to win the Prem. We've seen other teams do this. We've seen other teams struggle against bottom teams and still win the Prem. It happens, right? It's the Premier League. It's very competitive. But it's just something you could see the Arsenal players sometimes. Either it was something off on the day, or it was just they're probably are they feeling the pressure? A lot of these players haven't won anything in their career, so they might start feeling the pressure. There's players with experience, right? But I feel like there's a mentality of getting over the line. I think there's an idea or like a feeling of getting over the line and knowing you could do it. And most of these Arsenal players haven't done that, right? You look at some of these players, they've never won a league, they've never won a Champions League, they never won a major trophy, right? Are they feeling the pressure? Was it just an off game? They got the 3 points, so at the end of the day, they still top of the league, right? But I feel like people are seeing some patterns in this Arsenal team, right? It's December. Arsenal have always struggled around this December January section. Part of the I remember 2 seasons ago they would lose to like the West Hams, the Fulhams. They would lose to all these type of teams, and I feel like even Arsenal fans are seeing the pattern little by little. But they wouldn't be too worried if they saw this pattern and they didn't see City on their back. They wouldn't be too worried if they saw City kept dropping points. But man, City are on it right now. City are on it with Haaland, Ryan Cherky, Foden. Doku was injured, but he's been pretty amazing this season. The only thing that keeps changing in that City team is the midfield. I think like from defense and attack, they're fine, right? They have Haaland. Haaland's always gonna play if he's fit. Cherky is there. Foden is there. Doku is there. Savinho, when he comes in, he's looked better these last 2 games, right? But then you look at the defense, you see O'Reilly, you see Vardio, you see Ruben Diaz. They're always there. Stones, when he's fit, he can play. Ake, he's been playing left back sometimes when they need someone to come in. Right back, Nunez, Kudanov, they'll put someone else there if they have to. But their defense is pretty set. Their attack is set. Their goalkeeper is set. The only thing that keeps changing is their midfield, right? You guys know my love for Nico Gonzalez. You guys know how much I appreciate Nico Gonzalez. I was one of the players backing it, one of the people backing him when he first signed, and I was excited for the transfer for City. I was excited for it, and it didn't go so well the first season. But now you can see the imprint of Nico Gonzalez. You can see how good he is. But sometimes you have Reinders play. Sometimes you have Silva play. Bernardo. Sometimes you have Foden playing in the last center mid role. Sometimes you have it's just chopping and changing every game. I look at that midfield and I'm like, it needs someone or something, right? It's missing something, and I do believe it's missing something because Reinders, I don't see him as a double pivot. I don't see him being there right next to Defensively, I don't see it in him. I think he's more of an attacker. You could say a 10 or an attacking 8, something in that realm. Bernardo Silva, he has cardio for days, but when it comes to facing a physical team, I think you can notice when he's struggling. You can notice things when it comes to like not even just speed, like just intensity is what I meant to say with that. You know, you can see Bernardo struggling when they face intense teams like the Newcastles, like Crystal Palace. Adam Warren ran the show in that Crystal Palace game. And you can just notice these things, right? And it's Nico Gonzalez and who? Nico Gonzalez and who, right? And I think Rodri is a player that they are missing so much because imagine Nico Gonzalez and Rodri. Imagine that, right? Because look, at the end of before Rodri's injury, we would see Rodri a lot moving up, the Inter final, scoring the goal, coming up from behind, scoring the goal, and they could play together. Nico Gonzalez and Rodri will play together. I think if he comes back fit, which is another question mark because yes, everyone is saying when Rodri comes back, when Rodri comes back, when Rodri comes back. What if he doesn't come back to the full extent? What if he doesn't come back to an 80%? Because look, he got an injury. He had an injury, right? He comes back, he gets injured again, right? Club World Cup. Comes back early in this season, gets injured again, right? And it's just one of those things where people are keep saying when Rodri comes back, when Rodri comes back, when Rodri comes back. It's not a guarantee. I don't think it's a guarantee. He's an amazing player, and I'm sure that him being at 60% is better than Reinders being at 100, or him being at Rodri being at 70% is better than a lot of the Premier League players, a lot of world midfielders. A 70% Rodri is better than most of the Premier League midfielders, right? But it's not a guarantee that he'll come back to a high level, right? It's not a guarantee that he'll come back injury free for a whole season and a half, right? It's not guaranteed, and I think Pep knows that, and I think he will look for something more in midfield, right? I'm not saying he's going to replace him because I think he's going to try to the end of the day to get Rodri back. But it's not Pep. I think Pep knows that it's not a guarantee that Rodri will come back and play a 38 game season, right? And I think they might go in January buy a midfielder, and they might buy a winger, and you never know. They might buy a backup striker for Haaland. And City is on Arsenal's back. Arsenal need to look out because any drop of points, and look, here's the thing, right? Because the Premier League is pretty much in City's hands right now. Yes, Arsenal are first, but City are 2 points behind. Any loss of Arsenal, City has to be there to win the game right after. Any Arsenal loss, City has to be there to pick up the points because any Arsenal loss and City win, it switches the entire thing. And we know City know how to chase. We know City know how to win a title race. We know City could win a title race. We don't know Arsenal could do that. Yes, they might have the best defense in the world, the best depth in the world. That's what I've been sold by. They might have one of the best right wingers, one of the best eights, one of the best sixes, the best center back partnership, one of the best goalkeepers. But getting over the line still isn't there yet. Like none of the most 80% of 90% of these players haven't won a major trophy. So it's one of those things, right? Because should we trust the history of the Arsenal? Should we trust the history of Pep Guardiola, or should we look at it and see how things are? Because I still stand by it, right? I still think City will drop points, and I said this at the beginning of the season. I said this a couple of weeks ago that City will drop points. City will not go. I don't think City could go on a 12-game win streak, right? I think they will drop points at some time. But now how things are looking, it looks like Arsenal could do that too, right? Because I said it. City have to come up to the consistency level, and Arsenal need to stay at that consistent level. At that time, they were like they hadn't scored any, they haven't been scored on, they hadn't conceded any shots, and City were. I think they had just lost to Newcastle, right? So I said City need to keep a consistent run of games, and Arsenal need to stay at the level. But Arsenal have dropped to the level, and City have kind of picked it up, the consistency, right? And you never know, right? Because it's one of those things. The Premier League week change for other teams. You sometimes see United sixth. You sometimes see United 10th. You sometimes see Tottenham eighth. You sometimes see them 11th. You sometimes see Liverpool in 11th. You might see Liverpool in fifth. It's a weird league right now, right? But I said it not too long ago. City need to keep a consistent win rate, need to keep winning and keep a run of games of pure win, right? Because I think they could win 12 games in a row right now? I don't know about that. But do I think Arsenal could do it? I don't know about that either, right? It's a weird league right now. A couple of weeks ago, I would have told you, yes, they can go on a 10 game winning streak, an 8 game winning streak. But as things are looking for Arsenal, it's not even just about the point tally. It's not even just about the players they have. It's about the way they think things are going. These last 2 weeks, look, keep in mind, this is 2 weeks, right? Aston Villa and Wolves, right? And they beat Wolves, right? But I think Arsenal, even Arsenal fans are seeing the pattern of heads dropping, heads not being up for the game, not looking too much for the team, not looking too much at the team. And then you see Holland in every game he wants to score. And Arsenal don't have that striker. Every game, Cherky and Foden link up and create something. And Arsenal, Saka struggling in moments. Odegaard is struggling. Eze is struggling when it comes to creativity. And then you see Ryan Cherky and Foden create for fun, you know? So there's these little things that people don't look. Yes, Arsenal might be the best team in the world and on paper because they're first in Champions League, first in the Prem. But things change very quickly. You know, crunch time, March, April. You know, some may say January for Arsenal, December for Arsenal, and it's been not been the best start to December for Arsenal, right? Let's see how things go. I'm excited for it. You guys know me. I want a Premier League title race. And how things are looking right now. City versus Arsenal. Arsenal dropping their heads a little bit. City upping their levels, staying more consistent. Ryan Cherky, Phil Foden connecting. Haaland scoring non-stop still. Doku coming back from injury. Savinho picking up his level. Nico Gonzalez picking up his level. Ruben Diaz has been underrated this season. Vardiol, O'Reilly. These are players who are picking up their level now for on a consistent basis. Mateus Nunes has been pretty good for City. City players and Pep Guardiola himself are picking up the levels, not just of how they play, but of consistency. And how things are looking for Arsenal right now. Yes, they have injuries, but I got sold the idea that they have the best depth in the world. So I don't want to see no complaining from them. And look, don't drop your heads because Mendy in the last game looked pretty bad in the last couple of games, and not even before the Aston Villa game, Ruben Mendy has dropped his levels. Saka has been all right. You know, I think his GAs are looking kind of bad for a player that has not been known for getting consistent numbers year in year out. And yeah, Jokeres, can you rely on him? People, Arsenal fans are acting like Kai Havertz is the next Haaland. They're treating Kai Havertz like he's the savior of Arsenal Football Club. When before Jokeres came in, they were trashing him and saying they need a striker, right? So which one is it? Is Kai Havertz your savior? Is he? Do you need a replacement striker? It's weird at Arsenal right now how things are looking because these last 2 games, and not even the last 2 games, there's been a couple of games where I've seen Arsenal drop their heads. I've seen Arsenal do this, right? And they're a very good team. I rate Arsenal very highly, but when it comes to crunch time, I know City could do it. I know Haaland could do it. I know Ruben Diaz could do it. I know Bernardo Silva could do it. I know Phil Foden could do it. I know Vardio could do it. I know Stones, Ake. I know these players could do it, right? Do I know that Saka could do it? Do I know that Rice has done it for West Ham? I guess we will give him that. But do I know that Odegaard could do it? Do I know that Jokeris? Do I know that Gabriel Saliba? They're amazing, but getting over the line, I think it's a different level. And let's see, right? I like this. I like how things are going. Premier League title race. I hope it's a good one. You guys know me. That's all I want. A good title race. And let's see how things go, right? Let's see how things go.